Hello, adventurer. It's good to see you. You have made it to the morning grind.
Welcome, welcome.
It's the live stream at the beginning of the Geekverse, where we talk about all types of topics in geekdom, gaming, and fantasy, with an emphasis on being constructive and creating the things that we want to exist in the world.
It's all on the grind, Sizemore. Can't be too fine, can't be too coarse.
That's exactly right. There are a lot of adventures to be had today. Dungeons to explore and monsters to slay, and who knows what a random encounter might send our way. That's why we have to prepare, so settle in now for the morning grind with your favorite beverage in hand.
Tea? Or maybe something a little stronger. I've got a few bottles of the old Wynyard left.
Whatever you want. Pull up a chair.
Dude.
If you're feeling fancy, how about a cappuccino? Or a frappuccino? Or how about an espresso?
Just tea, thank you.
Sounds good to me, Gandalf. Whatever you want. I'm just glad you're here.
Everyone is welcome. You can just watch if you want. You don't have to worship anything you don't want to worship.
Thank you, Mike. But be forewarned.
Sometimes we get really strange characters around here.
Wait, what's that you say? Why can't you come and be a part of the stream?
My wife would disown me.
Oh no, I bet she'll be fine with it. Come on in.
Am I scared for my safety? No.
What are we supposed to do?
Everybody do the secret handshake.
Secret cultist handshake.
Oh, now do wizards who love each other.
This, my friend, is a science.
I still don't have gifts, but it's fine.
It's all on the grind, son. Can't be too fine, can't be too coarse.
Dude, this would be a sick place to bring the band.
Indeed it would be, Dave. It really would. I'm seeing more people coming in. Welcome, glad to have you here. Oh, look, here's someone new.
Is this the cultist meetup?
Yes it is.
Come to hang out? Please accept me. I have nothing else.
Okay, we accept you. Everyone's welcome here.
Brought some snacks.
Well, that makes things even better.
You want some coffee? I don't drink coffee. You sure? It's cultist coffee. What makes it cultist coffee? I'm a cultist and I'm drinking it. Oh. Then I'll have some.
What exactly is going on here?
I'm seeing more people coming in. Welcome. It's so great to have you. Oh, and look, here comes another stranger.
Can we help you?
Yes, fellow cultists. I could really use some food.
Oh yeah? Welcome. We have donuts.
Oh, it's me. I'm glad I'm here. I'm sure you have a few questions for me, though.
What's your name? Who do you work for? What god do you worship?
Great questions, Rob.
I'm Steve King, and I worship Nyarlathotep.
No, not really. I'm just Heath, and I won't be worshiping anything this morning. But I will be your host. Welcome to the office. We're going to have a great time. I've got my coffee ready, because now it's time for the morning grind.
If you could become a fish, that would be amazing. Then I could command you with my mental fish powers.
Hey, good morning. How is everybody? I hope, well, I'm late here this morning, but I am alive. How are you? I hope all right. Let's see. So here we are in the house, in the office, and on the morning grind. I want to finish up, I hope finish up this project with sort of what we're talking about for AD&D to use with the boys here. We're talking about creating some different cards. I do need to get some poker chips. So poker chips is still on the list as well. But I think pretty soon we're going to have this wrapped up. Oh, let's see. We got Nathaniel in the chat. We got Mike in the chat. Oh, Bio Meditator is there. Hey, good morning. Good morning. How are you? Let's see. So I have been working on getting some shorts up specifically about the cultists and the dice giveaway. And I got to a point, I was doing some pretty good work on that. I got to a point where I got one posted and then I realized it was not going to work. It was not working. And so I'm revising. So I'm going to revise that. I'm going to do a revision today, tomorrow, something like that. And then we're just going to go with whatever happens. So if you saw something that was up for just a few moments, or well, it was a few hours up on the cultist TikTok, I went ahead and set it over there and got absolutely no play. That's okay. We can advertise it, but I was expecting, wait a minute, I got to get some type of organic interest and something to know that this is worthwhile. And I think I know what the problem was. So I took it down and now am revising and rethinking and also getting grass cut. So had to work on that last night and still have a lot more grass to cut today sometime. So hope everybody is having a great day. Let's see here. So let's go ahead and do a breathe and sip. We will take 2 deep breaths, and then complete exhales, and then take a sip of our favorite beverage right here. I'm drinking out of the Fish Do Not Drink tea mug. So here we are right here. So let's breathe. Here we go. And sip. All right, there we go. And let me bring up Illustrator. So PH Arbex was asking last time, like at the very end, could Chat GPT completely lay out the card? And then he gave an example of that in the Ravenkeep Discord. And it did. Now I don't know how it's going to be able to, if it's going to be able to consistently maintain the styling. I don't know. Maybe it is. But he did it in a different way and just said, "Hey, can you please lay out the card?" That's probably good enough to print out. You might have to do some resizing. I'm not exactly sure how that worked. You might have to do some resizing and then print out, but probably would work just fine for a computer handout or a table handout. Yeah, Mike says it was a good example. I'm not sure what kind of prompt he used. I also got it to. I tried laying out a card. Now I didn't have the pictures. Let's see. No, magic scroll descriptions. I bet this is where it was. Yeah, I just asked it for one, and it didn't include an image in mine. It created an image on his, but it did lay it out. I don't know if all the especially if the bleed areas and all of that's going to work exactly the way that it should. Especially if you're going to a printer, but for just something you're cutting out for a handout or putting into a sleeve, like we were talking about, probably just fine. All right, so this is where we were, and I want to write something about the weapons. We didn't get quite to the weapons yet. Let me zoom out so we can see what's going on here. And then, yeah, because I was like, okay, so what have we done here? Now I haven't fully finished all of this. Let's take a little bit of time to format them before we play with the boys. But let's see. So we created some spell cards, though. We got all these massive number of potions of healing. Well, I think we might need one more. An elixir of health. That's basically the same thing. I figured that one will also be identifiable in the field. We've been talking about that. So the elixir of health is the one, doesn't restore any hit points, but it does restore a whole bunch of this is in the monster manual guide. It does remove a whole bunch of conditions. Conditions are something that I like, and I'd like to get into some cards for conditions, but not for this round. The elixir of health, this cures blindness, deafness, disease, insanity, mental weakness, infection, and rot. It also gets rid of parasites and cures poison if the poison has not caused any points of damage yet. It does not get back any hit points lost for any reason. So, I guess this is like ghoul paralysis and stuff. Does this say this takes care of paralysis? Blindness, deafness, disease, insanity, mental weakness, infection, and rot. Maybe it's rot or something that's in there. And infection, because I remember we got ghouls, and don't they? Yeah, it's paralysis. I kind of thought that was what that potion of health was in here for. Potion of elixir of health was in here for, but actually that's not true. But interestingly, in OSE, Old School Essentials, the cure light wounds cures paralysis, so it would be able to get them outside of a mummy, or get them taken care of if they are paralyzed by a ghoul. I do kind of like this look. Let's go over here and grab this information. Now here, though, we are not going to, we've got, with the weapons, we've got things that are not identifiable in the field. So in this case, I know we can put, okay, so this gives us, what weapons have we got? They're, why don't they give us more information here for, what kind of dagger this is? We've got 2 daggers plus 1 longsword plus 1, and 1 mace plus 1. So I'm thinking that we need to come up with a pretty interesting descriptions of those. And then, well, you can just put, okay, it's a dagger plus 1. Or it's, the mechanical effect is plus 1 on that later. And in fact, that to me actually comes up sort of being underwhelming. Hey, Titterpig, that's all right. I was late too. Good morning, John. It's actually kind of underwhelming. I think it's going to be if they go, okay, let me identify this weapon, and it's okay. It's a longsword plus 2, or it's a dagger plus 1. I think that part of the identification needs to be some type of history of the weapon. If you go to all the trouble of making the weapon sound cool, and then, well, what's the result? Oh, it's just a sword plus 1. So we've got this is going to be a dagger. I want to come up with an interesting thing, something interesting about it. But we've got dagger, we've got another dagger. That's not the most legible or readable way to spell to type dagger, actually, with this font. Dagger is kind of a weird word there. Long sword in the Dungeons and Dragons sense. And then mace. Yeah, Titterpig says, yeah, a named weapon is named because it symbolizes something, not just because it's better at weaponing than an unnamed weapon. It doesn't even necessarily have to be named. I mean, they could name it. I was actually listening to The Hobbit again, the Andy Serkis version of The Hobbit. It's been a while, but I've really been enjoying it. I was listening to it while I was outside working yesterday, and then while I was cutting grass yesterday, and I'll probably do the same thing again. I was really enjoying it. It was bringing back a lot of memories, and of course, in that case, they did find named swords. Well, but Elrond, with Glamdring and Orcrist, but Elrond kind of identified them for them, right? He identified them. They knew that they were when they found them in fact, let's look that up. So you don't have, but my point was, you don't have to have them be named weapons necessarily. They could name them, but if they've got some kind of history, let's see right here. Okay, there were lots of clothes too. This is when the Bilbo and the dwarves and Gandalf are in the troll cave. There were lots of clothes too, hanging on the walls, too small for trolls. I am afraid they belonged to victims, and among them were several swords of various makes, shapes, and sizes. 2 caught their eyes particularly because of their beautiful scabbards and jeweled hilts. Gandalf and Thorin each took one of these, and Bilbo took a knife in a leather sheath. It would have made only a tiny pocket knife for a troll, but it was as good as a short sword for the hobbit. These look like good blades, said the wizard, half drawing them and looking at them curiously. They were not made by any troll, nor by any smith among men in these parts and days. but when we can read the runes on them, we shall know more about them. So even Gandalf right there doesn't identify the weapons in the field. And actually, they have calls to use them, overhill and underhill. Oh, a short rest. Man, a short rest is a short chapter. So no, they don't actually get to use them until they are identified. But let's see what let's see here. Here we go. Elrond knew all about the runes of every kind. The day he looked at that day he looked at the swords they had brought from the troll's lair, and he said, "These are not troll make. They are old swords, very old. Swords of the high elves of the west, my kin. They were made in Gondolin for the goblin wars. They must have come from a dragon's horde or goblin plunder, for dragons and goblins destroyed that city many ages ago. This Thorin, the runes name Orcrist, the goblin cleaver, in the ancient tongue of Gondolin. It was a famous blade. This Gandalf was Glamdring, foe hammer that the king of Gondolin once wore. Keep them well." "Whence did the trolls get them, I wonder?" said Thorin, looking at the sword with new interest. "I could not say," said Elrond, "but one may guess that your trolls have plundered other plunderers, or come into the remnants of old robberies in some hole in the mountain of old. I heard that there are still forgotten treasures to be found in the deserted caverns of the mines of Moria since the dwarf and goblin wars." Thorin pondered these words. "I will keep this sword in honor," it said. "May it soon cleave goblins once again." And then they were able to Glamdring is able to cut open the shackles that's binding the dwarves. That's binding the dwarves in Goblin Town. Morton, welcome. Morton says, "I don't play or enjoy that game, but I came to leave a like and comment because I really like your content and approach to RPGs." Well, thank you, Morton. And actually, I was thinking about that. I hadn't really thought about my thumbnails, because I do like this is AD&D prep, but what we're doing here with designing of the cards and thinking about how things should be identified, maybe I'm underselling what we're doing with this, and I need to think, because anybody for any type of game would, potentially be interested in designing these types of cards and things like that for any version of D&D. Probably I'll make a short about it. But maybe in the future, once we kind of get things ironed out, we'll make kind of a more general video or something. There are still some I'd like to make. There just is no time right now. So I think this is much more general than just AD&D. But thank you. I think even if we don't name them, somebody that when the wizard identifies them, getting some type of history on them is probably a good idea. Let's see. Mike says, "Dagger with a shimmering argent hilt and blackened steel blade that glows faintly of blue." Let's see. How do we want to do this? So we should say, I will start with finely crafted. Finely crafted dagger. Silver daggers actually have something special about them, like to be actually silver. Which this is, they could be, but this doesn't say that. So finely crafted dagger. Bright it could be inlaid. Inlaid steel dagger. I'm also, oh, that's kind of cool. Yeah, let's call that inlaid. Yeah. No D. No E. Okay, so inlaid steel dagger. Why don't we use some of our descriptions over here? Beautiful scabbards and jeweled hilts. Well made. Well made longsword. And then mace. Elegant. That needs to seem like something that's kind of like a holy weapon or something. Here, let me zoom in a little bit over here. Like Damascus steel, right? Yeah. I think some type of patterned blade with the inlaid steel, well made longsword, elegant. Again, I don't want to say silver. Well, this could be jeweled. Jeweled mace. Okay. Now, what do we got? Be creative here online. Oh, the Last Phoenix says mace with elegant fragrance, commonly used spice in the East, made of the same fruit as nutmeg. Oh, I do like the idea. It's kind of like censer like censer is in the thing that you swing around to um, do the spices. Hold on, I kind of like that. A jewel mace is made from that red waxy part that wraps around the actual nutmeg itself. Yeah, the incense thing used in ceremonies is a censer. Yeah, that it's got on the chain. That you see them like in the Catholic Church, they use them when they're coming through and they're waving the things on the chain. What's the red waxy part of nutmeg? Oh, the red waxy part of nutmeg fruit is called mace. Oh, huh. Okay. Yeah, I looked that up. Okay, so that is called mace too. Okay. Um, so a jeweled mace that smells faintly of spice and incense. Faintly of Eastern spices and incense. Its handle let's see. Its handle is carefully wrapped in burgundy. And ornate. Oh. An ornate jeweled mace that smells faintly of Eastern spices and incense. Its handle is carefully wrapped in burgundy leather. I don't know. Do we need to say more? I don't know. Yeah, I'm glad we thought of the smell. So this one up here, finely crafted dagger. A dagger made by a master craftsman with a keen edge, undulled and unstained by the passage of time. Dark with a bright, clean, bright blade and a keen edge, undulled and unstained by the passage of time. Its hilt is darkened steel. Oh, we could put runes down on that. Its hilt is darkened steel with, like, what are dark semi-precious stones? Black, 33 types of black gemstones. Okay. Black pearl. Moonstone, black moonstone. The rarest and most sought-after hue is colorless and a blue luster that floats above them, together with pearls. Moonstones are the June birthstones. So you can't have black moonstones? Oh, well, although if it's with darkened steel, its hilt is darkened steel with a green leather wrapped handle. And a strange, we could have a strange rune in its pommel. A dagger made by a master craftsman with a bright blade and a keen edge, undulled and unstained by the passage of time. Its hilt is darkened steel with a green leather wrapped handle. But just a strange rune is on its pommel. A strange rune is on its pommel. All right. Dagger over here. This one can be the Damascus steel one. Black opal. Let's use black opal over here. Inlaid steel dagger. I wonder if they know what Damascus steel is. Might be a good way to bring it up and show it to them. It's you. A Damascus steel blade with intricate patterns. Woven into the blade. Intricate woven patterns. The hilt is adorned. The silver hilt is adorned with black opals. Black opals. Its handle is wrapped with black leather that feels just right in the palm. Its pommel is shaped like a seashell. That's much more fun to find than just an unidentified dagger. Okay, and then over here, well-made longsword. This straight blade in a black scabbard is inlaid with forgotten runes. Hey, PH. This straight light blue blade. The straight blade has a light blue hue. Housed in an elegant black leather scabbard is a blade with a light blue hue. Silver, right? Yep. Silver. No, wait, hold. This is runes. Silver runes faintly reflect the light. The light gently reflects off silver runes in a forgotten that run down the blade. The hilt is jeweled. And the handle is wire wrapped silver. Is tightly wrapped in silver wire. Hey, TSL frontman. Housed in an elegant black scabbard is a blade with a light blue hue. The light gently reflects off silver runes that run down the blade. The hilt is jeweled, and the handle is tightly wrapped in silver wire. Reroll crit fails. It could. This is supposed to be, so that was just supposed to be a +2 sword. All right, let's see if we can generate images for these based on what our we've got here. Let's see. We want to use, what was this that I was saying? Using the same pen and ink style. I need you to generate card artwork. For the following, for a dagger of the following description. Maybe they can name them later. Then on the back, so then later we can come up with, I probably should do it because they might get identified at the end of the game. But then they'll know, okay, this is a +2 or +1 or whatever it is. But then I think I need like 2 sentences about something about where it came from or, who made it. Actually, so let's go ahead and do that. So this is weapons front. But that identified thing won't be with them. I'll hand that to them later. Weapons front. Weapons back. So I think what I could do, I could just copy that. And then it would tell them right there that now it's +1. On the other hand, it could tell them something about what it is. But then down here, we need the additional information. Oh, you know what? When I gave it that information, I'll show you what it made. Well, actually, it put the card text underneath it. Or at least it did in the preview. It's not doing that on what I... Oh, there we go. I'll show you. Dagger 1. Speaking of kind of laying out a card. There we go. So it tried. It didn't give me. It didn't give me its name. Hey, I wonder what type of ratio it's got. But it did kind of try to lay that out. Actually, pretty good. So that's the safe zone. So it's not going to, if you're trying to print this, and I didn't tell it to give me margins either. That's not quite work. So I didn't tell it to give any kind of margins. That wasn't included in the prompt. But as far as just if you were printing that or trying to scale that to something to hand out, it didn't put a title on it, but it did make that. A dagger made by a master craftsman with a bright blade and a keen edge, undulled and unstained by the passage of time. Its hilt is darkened steel with a green wrapped leather handle. A strange symbol is on its pommel. So it did, it does that kind of work for it. Hey, better with bacon. It is better now that we have bacon. I was running late too. But let's see what happens. Probably gonna have to figure out how to tell it to don't worry about like the background, that I need just a pure white background. Or ultimately, probably what I need to do is actually clip it out. It needs to be a pure white. I guess it needs to be a pure white background. I mean, if these were actually going to go to printing, I'll have to think about how I want to put them with what kind of background I would want them to have. Because I think you could do a pretty nice little layout for them. Beyond what we're doing here. I mean, this is fantastic for trying something out with a handout. I would like that dagger. That's a nice looking dagger right there. Finely crafted dagger. I'm going to tell it, okay, we don't need the text. I just need the image going forward in a square aspect ratio. Let's do, I just need the, let's do inlaid steel dagger. Let's see what it does. That's a good point. Daniel says in a good art program, you can declare any particular color to be transparent. So yeah, because I like I'm looking at. Yeah, I mean, there's something cool that can be done. And then I'll go ahead and get ready. And the next, let's do this well-made longsword. That is that has a it's telling me there's no double L here. Okay, cool look. It's just about time to have to tell the boys, all right, we got to come up with a time to play again. I'm glad I have all this ready. I wasn't ready for all of this last time. And plus, I was fighting all of the it was fantastic resolution. I mean, I'm scaling down to 20%, and it's still that big as far as a card goes. Wasn't, well, it wasn't, it was still fighting the allergies. Inlaid steel dagger. So how about that? So this is our two right here. So this would be the finely crafted dagger and the inlaid steel dagger with the seashell looking pommel. All right, let's try about this longsword. Dice Tale says it's easy to remove that tan background using GIMP. And at the moment, I'm in Illustrator. Better with Bacon's asking, what are we in? We're not in InDesign. I think that this is in Adobe Illustrator. Yeah, this is going with ChatGPT. We're experimenting with ChatGPT's new image generator for this. So ChatGPT is doing those. But I think that I'm going to have to go over and oh, BGD came through. I just saw him scroll by. I didn't see him earlier. Yes. Good morning, BGD. So I forget where I was going with that. Oh, I think that, yeah, I think people are actually laying out the cards in InDesign. This is laid out so they can be printed. But this is not how I think I need to lay them out. I think I need them card by card in order to send them to something to actually print. Okay. So it created a thing that looks like a dagger because it tried to put the entire sword in the square aspect ratio, which is not what we want. Here, I will show you. This looks like a pretty cool dagger, actually. I'll call it Dagger 3. And I'll drop it into Illustrator. Let's drop this down to 10%. There we go. That's a pretty cool looking dagger. It did also kind of use it's pen and ink kind of style, but it also kind of, brought in the blue hilt, blue kind of tint to the blade. That is a pretty cool dagger. I liked it in all of these cases. They're not, especially this one over here on the left, they're not like hugely fantasy kinds of daggers. They do look practical. We're going to say, okay, the problem there is the sword looks like a dagger because the whole thing, I was afraid we were going to have to do this actually, because the whole thing is in a square image. Let's just focus on the hilt and handle with the blade running out of the picture. With just enough shown to see the runes. Hey, relative dimension. Ask that. Okay, well, we could try to adjust the proportion. PH Arbex is recommending just adjusting the proportion. Tell him that. Ask it to fit the sword in the space without changing it. Resizing necessary, but keep the proportion. Finally crafted at the finally crafted dagger says a strange. Oh, it doesn't say a strange what? Oh, thank you for the call relative to mention. A strange. Oh, that's what I was supposed to. A strange rune is on its pommel. Let's use queer. Okay, that also recalls the Hobbit like we were going for, because that also lets my text line up right there. A queer rune is on its pommel. Queer in the sense that Tolkien used it in the Hobbit, not current meaning. You know, I actually did a. You can find it online. On the GeoMinds channel, I have a complete Adobe Illustrator for cartographers class that I put up online, like how to use from the very beginning, how to learn Adobe Illustrator to make maps with. If you look up Adobe Illustrator for cartographers, you'll find my class. I put all of that online many, many years ago because when I was teaching cartography, we used both the art software, the Illustrator, but we did all the science of our maps in ArcGIS for the most part. But you know, once the science was done, we'd take it to an art program to actually make it look nice. And I hated teaching students all of the technical button pushing. Press this button, then press this button, then press this button. When they didn't know software in class, it took so much time. It was such a waste of time. So I ended up for like their homework. They ended up moving their homework kind of during class, because I would use the time that I used to just sit there and try to teach button pushing in Adobe Illustrator. And I sent them as their homework to go through the video lessons on how to actually operate Adobe Illustrator. So I do have an Adobe Illustrator course, Adobe Illustrator for cartographers, that is up on YouTube. Let's see what it says. Oh, okay. I like this. That right there. So that's what it did this time. Let's also try to do what PH said. Move that out of the way. I think that gets the point across. But let's try to generate the other way. Okay, now let's try to generate it another way. Generate the same sword. I'm really impressed with this ChatGPT's image generator, what OpenAI has done. I still have not gotten to go and play with Midjourney 7 yet. And I've heard mixed stuff about it. I was watching some of the stuff online because right now I still have Midjourney, but actually since all of a sudden ChatGPT has been able to generate images, I don't know that I've been over to Midjourney. I mean, so this is only I've been working this for a couple of weeks or something like that. I was holding on. Okay, when is Midjourney's next release? And I got to go and understand it and see what's going on with it. I think I have to use the website. I still kind of use Discord quite a bit, but it might be that it's going to be time to drop Midjourney. Midjourney was out front for a long time, and it just hasn't been able to do it. Oh, a better way to edit here. Better with Bacon, Scott. Is this a keen-edged master-crafted dagger? Its bright blade unstained by time. Its dark steel hilt, wrapped in green leather, is capped by a pommel adorned with a strange rune. That does sound pretty good. Can I copy it? I can. A keen-edged, master-crafted dagger. Its bright blade unstained. This should save space. It did. I'm going to keep both of those. All right, let's see what. Oh, I didn't finish my instructions. Let's try to generate the same sword in the square aspect ratio. But this time it needs to look more proportionally. It needs to look just proportionally like a sword. Also, being able to just type in natural language and have it be able to modify an image is huge. And I wish I could do that in Midjourney. Now, some people said there's something like close to that feature or something. So now, but it's so nice to be able to just talk in natural language to it and get it to modify the picture, because it's like you're texting with someone. PH says in chat, you can use Canvas, change the text, and even ask it to organize your creations and generate a PDF for you to download. Pretty useful. See you later, Mike. Proportionally like a sword, by showing the long blade. It can also be sitting beside its elegant leather scabbard. It's elegant black leather, like leather wrapped. Scabbards are wood, but black leather scabbard. Well, it regenerates the new image. I mean, it generates a new image. Like, it didn't erase the image, that first image of the sword, that looks like a dagger. It didn't regenerate that. It didn't remove that. But, I can just say, hey, that image, let's change up this in natural language and redraw it, and it does it without having to, do painting or do, prompts that aren't natural language. Because if you just it's difficult. You can't just in Midjourney, at least the way I was using it through Discord, if it generates an image and you're like, okay, I really like that, except for let's make this a woman instead of a man or a man instead of a woman. Midjourney doesn't do that, whereas ChatGPT here can, which we're not going to be able to get to the injury cards. The injury cards are the last kind of one, aren't we? This is taking a while. So the prompt here was, now let's try to generate the same sword in the square aspect ratio, but this time it needs to look proportionally like a sword by showing the whole long blade. It can also be sitting beside its elegant black leather scabbard. Right. Yes, that's exactly right. So this is based on those, and its consistency here is pretty good. I noticed that it did lose the jewel in the pommel this time. The Last Phoenix says, can you force same seed with Midjourney? You can, yes. I haven't done that. Yeah, it's not perfect, PH says, but it's pretty close. Sometimes I downloaded the image I liked and put it in again for ask for a specific change. Right. If it doesn't get what you're referencing, I was trying to work with a character, and and I saved the character and be like, all right, so now upload it with this. Here's this sample idea. Oh, this request timed out. Let's try again. It looked like it was going well, but then it said timed out. Let's see. Oh, okay. No, actually, it looks like we got it. But it may have actually restarted it. It's close, and it's certainly close enough for doing something like this. Now, arguably, this is still, I mean, this is a lot of effort to go through for handouts for this game. But let's say, I like this. I do like this version. Longsword 1B. There, like, there we go. So that it may not be the most perfectly straight blade, but I think it works. Maybe we should use that. It's going to take a few more hours to get all this ready for the boys. But there we go. That looks like the well-made longsword right there. Ultimately, PH says I use an image editor to join elements and then go through it again. When I do that, I open a new chat and start fresh. Because sometimes it retains the wrong elements from the context. I've noticed that, yeah. Let's see. Yeah, it kind of does. Let's do one more. See, it would be so much easier if you could just get the get these out of a deck. Okay, one more. Be sure the whole mace is shown in a realistic proportion. Despite its size, it is well balanced and handles and light to swing. Give a little bit more. Yeah, you could also try to chat all the concepts, put all of those in, and then make a sheet with all the cards. And it probably would be able to do that. We did look at like that aspect ratio. I was telling people what they that you tried to generate the whole card, and it basically did work. I was unsure what would if it, well, I didn't, like I said, I didn't specifically tell it to be sure of like this percentage bleed margin or this amount of bleed or something like that. And safe zone inside the card. I didn't prompt for anything like that. So that would have to be something that could be done consistently if you're sending it off for printing. But for the purposes of just printing out a handout for at-home play, Oh, that's pretty cool. It probably works. Mace 1. Here it comes over. And of course, you don't even really need, look at that. The images anyway. Look. Of course, it's not like you need the cards. I just want them. But you don't have to have the images on them. The text would also work. The boys would also think that was cool, but they'll think it's extra cool. Like that, I like that jeweled mace. It's kind of cool. That seems like my title is sitting down rather low. Well, actually, that's also kind of low. Maybe that's where some of my missing space was going. That's the kind of stuff that needs to get fixed as far as detailed layout goes. But I like the jeweled mace. Relative Dimension says, I don't know if you solved the problem about them being flipped over too early. Maybe try plastic card sleeves that are transparent on one side only. Flip card when they learn details. Yeah, for the purposes of some of these that we looked through here, we said that some of these were going to be identifiable in the field. And so they're going to probably be flipping them over pretty early. And so, or instantly know. Like if the wizard gets one of the scroll spells, he's going to be able to read magic instantly. We're not using read magic as a separate spell. So he will just know what those scrolls are. So he'll be able to flip them over pretty much directly. The potions of healing, we said that probably adventurers can field identify potions of healing, and probably the elixir of health as well. Is that stuff that's intended for them to be used right then. The potion of speed, the ring of invisibility, oh, we got those too. And then these weapons are not. So all I think I'm going to do is have that. So there we go. That's given to them. Now, actually, on this side, there is not anything that lists its bulk, and hadn't really gotten into tracking what they're carrying yet. But so it's not important right here. But I can see putting their bulk or weight, however you're tracking inventory and encumbrance, on this right here. But this would just be what they have. If they want to use it, they can use it. And then on the back, or not on the back, on a separate card or on a separate sheet, I would just have what when it's identified, and then just slide that into the back of the card or something like that. That way you got two sides. But yeah, these things that won't be identified until they see the wizard, I'm just not even going to have in the card, which makes it easy because it's just done at home. And so you don't have to worry about printing both identified and unidentified cards. So there'll just be something separate that will be handed to them later to slide into that card. That's pretty cool. I mean, we've been sitting here for an hour to get these done. We've also been talking and stuff like that. The image generation for ChatGPT is a bit slower than Midjourney. Morton says, this is an important point. Don't want to derail your train of thought, but please don't launch the Cultist RPG until after the tariff war is settled. It's been creating havoc on the Kickstarters. The costs go through the roof. Yes. Now, the difference, though, with the Cultist Kickstarter is that I designed everything that's on the Kickstarter can be done basically as print on demand and created here. So I actually designed the Cultist RPG so that I didn't have to go overseas. I needed something to get started with that did not have to go overseas and have minimum print runs and things like that. So I don't think I'm going to have that problem. because they're print on demand, and the print on demand things come from the countries that they are being printed in, like the print on demand does for the US. And the t-shirts are the same way. So I don't think I'm going to have that problem. So I kind of actually, that's another advantage going, hey, I just want to do this simply and stuff that I can ship here. So I was going to have everything sent here, and then I was going to package everything and send it out. And of course, it's taken a while, but we need more people. So I'm really hoping that this new like TikTok will get some people's attention and we can have some more people here. But I do want to get going with it. I've been trying to do it forever. But an advantage of doing it kind of in-house is that I don't have to go through this massive tariff situation, which is going to be a big deal. So, all right. Well, all right. I'm going to go cut some grass for a little while. I got to go cut grass, and there's a lot of other things to do. But this was fun. This was fun. We still haven't done injury cards. The last big thing that I want to do is to have some injury cards for the boys. I had a list of different things I wanted to make sure that I had. So these magic item cards were on the list. That's a big kind of thing. But then I need to finish this up, and then I need to go play with the boys. Okay. All right. Later, everybody. Have a wonderful day. I will see everybody here on Sunday. Later.